Ready? Jocelyn, if you don't get off your chair, I'm going to fly to Saskatchewan and make you get out of your chair.
Moving the camera up. Uh-oh.
I'm recording you dancing. Sharon's off camera. Hi, Sharon!
Hello. Okay, we'll dance.
Yeah, you can do it, girl.
I can do it. I can do it.
Do it.
For now.
Oh, wow, this is louder. There we go.
Can they be that close? Just let me state for the record, we're giving love in a family dose. We are family. Hey, I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. Sing it to me. We are family. I got all my sisters with me.
Right on. Good chair dancing, Karen. Keep going, Monique. Woo. Thank you for playing. Was that fun?
Always.
I mean, really, like it's like so right there for us. So here we are. It's so great to see all of you. We are on our last live call. You're still going to get prompts through the week. I want to do what I did last week. I would like to start with the check-in. Last week was, as you articulated, Monique, soft. It was soft, being invited to connect with our hearts and listen and to that beat of our own drum. So you can talk about that or where you are, any insights, any ahas before I lead you into what we'll talk about today. Who would like to go first? I feel like a teacher when I ask that question. I'm not a teacher. Monique's going first. I'm going to take some notes.
Hello, everyone. I hope you had a beautiful week, survived the heat wave. So yeah, it was a very soft week, and I found the repetition of the prompt. It led me to a lot of gratitude for the people who have guided me, the women who have guided me through this journey of healing. And I found that for my future, what my heart is calling from me is that, whether that ends up being in a professional capacity or something I just do on the side, is that idea of paying it forward, things that I've learned to pass them on, because it's meant so much to me in my life. I'm getting teary just thinking about it. Like, I feel like I was saved by women who embraced me when I was at my lowest point in my life. And I think that's true for many women. We create community and we hold each other in our arms and pull each other up when we really need it the most. And I find that gets truer and truer the older we get. And if I can find some way to pass that on, that would be what my heart's calling is. And I also want to say that my mom's birthday was this weekend, and we have a very Toxic past. There's a lot of alcoholism in my family, and from the age of 12, I parented my mother, and I was alone with her at that point, very suddenly. And and living with her put me in tremendous danger. And so there was a lot of healing that's gone on. And we just, my sister and I just recently moved her to long-term care very close by here. And she's improved tremendously in her health. And the whole process has been difficult, overwhelming, but also extremely cathartic in the process of everything I've been going through. When she came here on the weekend, it was just, I had a beautiful time. We all did. My kids, her, my heart was open, and there's a lot of forgiveness that had to happen, and it's there fully. She comes from her own trauma background, and she's fully aware and has apologized way too many times. But my heart, this whole, all of the heart, the focus on the heart has been, it's been a healing week. That's what I found.
And you know, what's so great is like, you could just continue with that prompt. If that's what felt right for you, you could just keep on going with that for the next week, 2 weeks, summer, whatever you choose, right?
Yeah.
And you see from 1 week what opened and what space was offered is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, and I don't know that it was just the 1 week. It was like the culmination of so much
Oh, of course.
happened, and that was like a, oh yes, this is where I actually am, and I don't need to put up the walls anymore, because I have my boundaries, and I also recognize so much, and can offer that open space to instead of being reactive. I'm just yeah, it's like, this belongs here, and there's many things I could offer my mother when she said something and she started to go down a negative road, or a victim mentality road, or anything, whatever it was. It was just a listening and offering her a different perspective if she wanted to take that. And it was just so gentle. It was lovely. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. And yes, of course, it's not going to just be a week of prompts, but that would do that. It's all like every one of us, we are where we are, whatever that is, from everything we've journeyed. But I will say it would be interesting to see if you did continue with that prompt, what, especially when you're thinking about, you know, passing it on, passing it forward, what your heart reveals to you. Really nice. Thank you. Who's next? Carol.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
Why not? So, yeah, this was a good week for me. I actually ended up missing one morning of journaling. I can't remember why. And it was like, oh, and I missed it. Like, oh my goodness. It's become such a habit, which is really good. So yeah, I feel like I'll be able to continue on the journaling, which is nice. Yeah, doing it from the heart this week really helped. Kind of guide me into when I do use my voice to speak from my heart instead of getting pissy, upset about things. Anyway, I sort of gave myself a deadline. I thought, okay, I need to have at least some conversation before this last group, because, you know, you feel so supported in the group. So I did a little bit last night. I wanted to have more, but you know what? You just do what you can do. And I started getting a little upset, and then I just stopped for a minute, and it came out much kinder, and it was taken that way also. So I don't know how much I was heard, but hey, it's a start.
It is a start. And when we, we rarely have people hear us the first time around.
Yeah.
Like, even if you were to go back and watch all of these videos, you would pick up things that you didn't hear the first time around. Like, it's just natural. But you took the step.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really, really, like, that's amazing, Carol.
Yeah, I just said to myself, no, if I'm going to do it, I need to do it while we're doing this group, because that's when I'm going to be supported. And yeah, when we're right in the middle of this. And I just thought, no, you just have to do this. Ah,
How does
and
it
yeah,
feel?
it ended up feeling really good. And it was something that just came out. So it started coming out, not like the old way. And what was really good is that I changed my tone, and
Hmm.
yeah, it felt good afterwards.
So,
was-
like,
yeah.
go ahead.
I was like nervous the whole time, and afterwards not sure, okay, so now what? And and there wasn't any what, now what, so which was good.
Did you get to sort of feel, oh, that my fears were potentially bigger than the real fear of whatever it was you were talking about?
In a small way. It's going to take a while for that to, yeah, the more
did
I
it.
get used to it, doing it, then it should lessen the fears.
Yeah. As you experience, so it was a positive experience.
Yes.
Also remember your why when you have these conversations. Like, ideally you want to be heard, but you're at a place in your life now where it's like, I'm in the practice of using my voice and I'm hearing me.
Yeah, that's what's important. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm hearing
and
me actually do it.
yeah. And so the more that you do that, and how amazing to be in the middle of responding, like reacting, but then pulling back,
Yeah.
catching yourself
Never, yeah,
doing
never
it.
done that before.
Yeah, like, Carol, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
That must
So
be
yeah. Yeah. I just told myself I'm coming to the group and being able to say that I did it.
You did it. That's amazing. Very happy for you. And I think we all are happy for you. I know that's a really big step for you. So you did it, and then you do it again, and then you do it
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
And also letting it be in little pieces. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I don't want it all to come out at once, because that's too much for both of us. So yeah.
Right on. Oh, I'm really happy for you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you
Well,
for
and,
doing it.
and thank you, and thank everybody. Yeah.
Right on. So great. Gosh, that's a big step. Okay, so who else would like to? Jen.
Yeah. I missed you all last week, and I apologize for that. I had a different kind of week. I work for a company, and it's different from anyone that I've worked for before. It's based in Ireland. A lot of people there, only a couple of us here in Canada, and we run big events, gatherings of 40,000 people, 70,000 people. So as you can imagine, there's a big build up, and it kind of reaches a crescendo, and then the event happens, and then you're done and on to the next one. So that all began for me, the event itself anyway, last Sunday evening, and ended last Thursday night. And then I had a young colleague, a 35-year-old who's going through divorce, stay with me until last evening. So
Oh.
I wrote a note to Jen, just kind of talking about how I felt. And I felt like, because I was in that moment where I had to perform, I felt like I was using a lot of those survivor skills rather than what I'm developing and what I'm becoming more aware of. As you might imagine, I work with a lot of partners, and I was called in to do work with government officials like our mayor of the city and various counselors and that kind of thing. And that's actually what happened on Monday. So on one hand, there's a little bit of excitement and adrenaline that goes along with that, but it felt very chaotic and very, we talk a lot about our nervous system. I felt like that was just on hyperdrive. And my boss was there, and my boss's boss was there over from Ireland as well. And I always struggle with authority figures and trying to figure out what's right and what I should be doing. And I've had incredible feedback about people's experiences last week, but it's just feeling kind of overwhelming at the moment. So I wonder if some of that survivor self, I'm still back exploring her a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not so much back, but if some of that is actually what makes me good at this in this role and get the praise that I do, but it just doesn't feel very good. And I want to explore that a little bit more and just see if what I'm doing and seem to be doing well in others' views, not always mine, if
Mm.
there's something there that I can come to terms with that I can nurture and enjoy and grow with. So I have sadness today because I feel like there's parts of this group, chunks of journaling that I missed out on because I just wasn't ready. It just wasn't the right time for me. But Jen reminded me that you've always all held space for me at where I'm at, and I really appreciate that so much. I don't know what's going to happen next. We'll figure that out, but um, I know something shifted. I know that I'm different from who I was 10 weeks ago, and I also know that I'm I never wanted to take up space. I never wanted to go on for too long about what was going on with me. I just wanted to move on to the next person. But you have gently made that a beautiful thing for me and an opportunity that I hadn't really had before. Um, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm feeling a little frazzled because I'm just finally on my own. I just
Mhm.
finally just made my dog after a really full-on kind of week that was wonderful and awful and beautiful and terrible and all of those things. So I just am craving a little bit of time to uh to sit with things. But yeah, I guess think I'll pause there. But I didn't, and I'm sure I hope that through our Facebook group, whatever else, we'll have a chance to just remind each other how incredible we are and how much we've grown and how much we've meant to each other when we didn't know one another just a few
Mm.
weeks ago. But I wanted to call it out or bring it up during my session because it really has been pivotal and something new for me. So thank you for that. Yeah,
Mm.
I know. Do you want to breathe now? I feel like I
No,
need
I'm
to
just
breathe.
taking it in because it's
Ah,
so, when you say you were using your survivor skills through work, um, yes, our survivors are also part of what make us really good at certain things.
yeah,
And that's where the relationship can shift because you can embrace that. And in the work around survive yourself, and you start to sort of get a perspective of what's working, what's not, what's healthy, what's less healthy, what's old, what could move into the new. Um, you have a whole new relationship with yourself because
yeah.
so the fact that your awareness has expanded so that you can say, yeah, I was in this 38,000 people and I was like, go, go, go. And yes, my nervous system was on hyperdrive, but I could see that my survivor self, like the fact that you could see that is huge. Because if you couldn't see that, how could you shift anything? How could you embrace or even see, yeah, parts of this part of me make me really good at this?
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It does. And yeah, I mean, even just today, having some time quietly to myself to think, I don't think I ever would have thought that, oh, there's some good and there's things that I really enjoy about that part of me and that make me really successful and aware, and and so I don't think I would have thought about that before. So that's kind of exciting. It's just back to that whole thing of what if everything is what if you're where you're meant to be, and what if it's not too late, and what if everything has been leading up to this, all these things we've heard and read, but they kind of felt a bit cliche-ish to me, but living in it now, it feels possible, and that's something I haven't felt before, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cliches and memes are cliches and memes until they're integrated in our own.
Yeah.
And
You're
then
right.
you're like, oh, I get that. Like
That's what it
even your
means.
description of this, it was beautiful and it was hard and it was difficult and it was amazing. And like, that's the landscape, right? The whole thing exists. The
I felt
whole,
very alive.
huh,
Sometimes I feel like I'm just showing up, but it felt very alive to me. Yeah,
wow.
that's the word. So
The part about I do well with others' view of me, but I don't see what they see. That's my me trying to
yeah.
short form. That will come. That will come. And, for all of you, like the more you get to know your survivor self, the more you get to be curious with yourself about what works, what part of this part of me can I pull with me towards what I'm moving towards. And sorry, I thought I turned my phone off. And what can I continue to let go of? Like 10 weeks is nothing for getting to know your survivor self. Like I meet my survivor self all the time. And sometimes parts of me come up and I'm like, wow, that is really old. And you just continue to be in that relationship. And the more you do it, and the more you sort of have the awareness and the questioning and the curiosity, the more you can lead versus leading from fear and survival. Big difference. And so with that will come that integration. Like I had somebody at an event last night say to me, I did a couple of prompts and she said, you just changed my life. She said this in front of all these women. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking, that's just a prompt, just a prompt. And I could hear that part of me not receiving because she was thanking me, thanking the timing of being there. So it's like the more aware we are, the more we can catch it and love it and go, yeah, no, I'm letting that in. I'm letting that in. It'll come in time. So thank you for sharing, and a beautiful share, Jen. Who's next? Jocelyn.
Calling me out.
I'm calling you out, man.
This week with the heart prompts have just really, because I have been doing this work for quite a while, but I just really felt that my heart was just saying that it's time, like time to come home, but also to open up and to not be guarded and not wanting to show my true self to other people. Or hiding those emotions and those fears, and so now I can feel so much more, because before I just stuffed all those emotions, and so I didn't feel anything. And there's just been a lot of things that have happened this past week that I've come in contact with two women now that I grew up with, and there was a lot of trauma with them and with us. The one girl and her sister were in a really bad car accident with my sister. And so it was one of those things that was just never talked about, right? They were in the Wascana Center for months and months in rehab, and my sister walked away and wasn't hurt at all. but it was yeah. So it was so we was able to have such an open conversation with them and talk about what what it really felt like. And then the one gal actually is her daughter is my brother's daughter. And it was a one-off, right? And so yeah, so it was never talked about, right?
Oh my God.
She's back in his life a little bit, right? Yeah. So it's just like, and so these people came into my life that, they both showed up. We were at a concert, with a friend. I know it's like a soap opera, right? But you live it and you just pretend that it's not there and it doesn't affect you, and everything's fine. But so I think there's so much hidden soap opera stuff in everybody's life, right? That we just never talk about and we just never deal with. We just push it under the cover, under the rug, and just we did a course. It's called looking at your Enneagram and going back in your generations, because things repeat themselves too, right? And so I'm just so excited that I've broken that cycle, that our hearts are, that I can have great conversations with my kids, right? And with my family. And yeah, and to even to be able to talk to them about that, because it could have easily just been, oh, hi. And I'm not talking to, I'm not going over and spending a half an hour in deep conversation with them, and, really seeing them for who they are. So yeah, it was pretty powerful. And then I also had the opportunity to walk a labyrinth last week. Yeah, we did a leadership retreat. This gal's got a labyrinth out on her acreage. Wow. And so she did a bit of and she did a session with us on creating a thinking environment. So it's and soul cards. Jen, you may have heard of soul cards. We sat and did a soul card. And so I pulled these pictures out of the magazine, and then we had to have someone else journal our thoughts to the soul card, and mine come out of just to have more fun and more play, right? And that I love to dream. So yeah, just the old me would not have done any of that, right? Wouldn't have taken the time to sit in those prompts and listen to that.
Wow.
I just feel that my heart is just healing and opening up.
That's what I was just going to say. What I'm hearing is how much your heart is opening. And I also really love hearing that you were seeing others, you were seeing them. And so as you see yourself and as you see others, you will allow yourself to be seen. It's a reciprocal wheel, it's a circle. We witness and we allow ourselves to be witnessed. It's never one way. And when we can soften into that idea, we can take up space. We can allow ourselves to be seen. So really beautiful. Yeah, really, really great. I'm looking forward to working with you. Jocelyn's going to be working with me on this next level, next leg of the journey. And, to what you say about living and pretending that things don't affect us, yeah, it's an epidemic, but when you think of yourselves, let that be a way to have compassion. We grew up in a world that, in our Western world, women are not, I don't know about the Appalachian Mountain women, if they're still locking them up, if they've got a little bit of excitability, which is, what they did. They locked women up if they had desires or expressed themselves. We don't live in that time anymore, I like to think. But think of yourselves with compassion when you come from a certain generational line of a lot of stuff suppressed. I don't know anyone who doesn't have something that the family doesn't talk about. So it's like, this is why we do this. We do this hard stuff and we seek joy and we let ourselves learn to be seen or play or whatever it is, because it's why we're here. We're here to bring our gifts to each other. We're here to see each other. Anyway, I went off on a little tangent, but I think you know what I'm saying. Great. Wow. Who's next?
I was just going to say that what Jocelyn was talking about kind of leads really well into my week. So if that's all right, I'd like to go. And it was a lot about, honoring your voice and, kind of honoring your, you talked about things that a lot of people bury and talk about. And that's kind of where I'm in my next stage of life. So honoring my story and allowing that to be heard is what I'm going to be working on next. And it's how I'm actually healing myself. So there was a lot of triggers for my heart with all the heart centered things this week, because my heart is hurting for the little girl that didn't get what she needed, and for the young woman who didn't get what she needed after a rape at university. And instead of getting something from her mom, like love, she actually got abuse, physical, mental, everything kind of abuse. And I am going through the healing process with my heart right now. And I am healing as those parts of me from those areas. And it's at a time when my mom is actually asking for more connection with me. And I have a time to see her on Friday and speak with her. And I've, thanks to the journal prompts and everything, I have forgiven her for everything that she did or didn't do. And I am choosing to have very limited access with her moving forward, because there is still ongoing hurt that she provides me and my family members. So it's not just about protecting myself now, it's also about protecting future generations and breaking that cycle, right, Jocelyn? Like, I do believe of myself as a cycle breaker. I am someone who speaks very openly about taboo subjects, and I kind of give zero flying fucks about it. And I am okay with that. And now I don't have to tiptoe around the feelings of others, is kind of how I'm starting to, I'm an adult, they're an adult. We can all deal with our own stuff. And if they're unhappy with that, then they can deal with that. But it is not up to me to have to change who I am in order for them to be happy. So that is where I am. My heart still feels very prickly. And so there was times where my old self would kind of shame, like, oh, I didn't do a lot of writing today. And I'd be like, no, that was just enough for what it needed. I think it was like the first day of the heart writing, because I was like, no, my heart is just like, it's kind of like a cactus. You can't throw your arms around it. You have to gently find a way to give it a hug. So that's kind of where I was at this week with the journal prompts.
I love that you are having agency, taking agency, having agency over what is enough for you. This is part of all of our individuating from our pasts, is deciding what our boundaries are. This is part of loving ourselves, is like, I didn't, maybe you didn't show up to the journal prompts in the way you wanted to, but the perspective of that was enough. That was what I could do. That was what I had access to do is far more loving than looking from the energy of deficit. So I hear you setting a boundary with your mom.
Mhm.
It's not up to me to change who I am in order to be accepted. I might have gotten those words wrong, but something there. And then, I wrote this long and I'm respecting where my heart is. Sounds like very healthy self-advocacy, boundary making, and self-respect.
Thank you.
For where you are, for the journey that you're on.
Thank you. Oh, and I forgot to mention to everyone, I think I mentioned it to you, Jen, but I was invited to join a memoir writing group by a friend to write about some of the stuff that I've gone through. So I think that might be a perfect continuation of me honoring my voice, is going ahead and sharing that story in hopes that it will help others.
Great. Thank you. Beautiful. Karen, do you wish to speak?
Do I wish to speak?
Yeah, well, you can always say no.
No. No, yes, I do wish to speak. I was just waiting. I was listening. When we started, I had such a hard time pinning down what I wanted from this. Part of it was more creativity, and I have opened up my creative side a bit more to actually help in my healing. But what it truly has turned into is that I have now decided that I am no longer going to blame myself for the trauma I experienced in my life. I was not at fault for that trauma. And I've internalized that since I was below 5 years old. I said, what happened to me must have been my fault, because you have to survive, and your parents are key for survival. So if somebody does something to you at that age, you can only blame yourself. In my situation, I don't know about others, but to survive, you can only blame yourself. And I'm starting to hear her voice more. She has really been trying to talk to me for a long, long time. And, she feels like it's her fault, and I'm trying to walk her through that. And it's not her fault. She doesn't deserve it. And the amount of negative self-talk I have, as you've called me out on numerous times, is really been damaging to my psyche, and also to those parts of me, because it was just enforcing that something's always wrong, you're the wrong bad one. So that has really shifted for me, even in small ways, which I really hope to build on, and I know I will build on it. But I really want to start looking at myself and saying, what is right with you? There's so much right with you. And I don't deserve what happened to me. I don't deserve it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't choose it. I didn't bring it on myself. I was a new little being in the world, And I wrote once, maybe I shouldn't have came here. Like, if that was going to happen, like, why did I come here? But I'm here for a reason, and I see that, and I hope to embody that. But like, coincidentally, just during this whole week, been thinking a lot about that, and I saw something on Etsy. It popped up. It was like a star chart. It's from a book. I don't know the book. I never read the book, but the chart like popped up and it said curse breaker, because I always feel like I'm living under a curse or someone's cursed me. And it said curse breaker, only you decide what breaks you. And I'm like, that's fucking right. This is not going to break me. So I bought it. I'm going to put it in my bedroom where I can see it. And every day I'm going to look at that and say, I am the curse breaker. I decide. So really, when I told you in my message that this has been a game changer, even though it's a slight shift, it's going to grow. And I'm going to be this light being I was meant to be before that shit happened to me. And before I allowed other shit to happen to me by my, being checked out or whatever. But so I can't thank you all enough. And I hope we do stay connected, because I love Canadians. I'm Canadian. I must have been Canadian in another life. I love the Hallmark Channel. I love Canada. I love Canadians. You just get me. But anyway, thank you so much.
Oh, Karen.
Oh yeah, I guess I did want to speak.
I'm so glad that you did. And it's a really powerful thing to say out loud. My self-talk has been damaging my psyche. and that younger part of you. And the power in your statement, I'm no longer accepting responsibility for my trauma. You get to accept responsibility for your healing. That's the power. No one else is going to do the healing work. We do it for us. That's like the gift. So I hear a shift in your voice. And I love it. Curse breaker, please make your next art piece.
Yeah, my story is just beginning, really.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, right? This is the work. It's like observing, becoming aware, understanding, being willing to say, yeah, that shouldn't have happened. It did happen, and now I'm healing. And it's not easy, but that is the access to our light. I mean, it sounds so cliche, but our darkness is part of our light.
And I had to also face the fact through this work that is why having children didn't work out for us, for different reasons. At different times, Phil and my husband and I were in different places with it, but I truly believe I wouldn't have healed if I had children. I would have passed it on. So I'm also not hating myself about that anymore, which I hated myself for years for not having a child or depriving him of having a child. Yeah, it really is a game changer. Thank you so much. Don't make me cry.
But I'd like to make people cry. No, I'm kidding. Thank you everyone for your beautiful sharing and witnessing, and I see you all seeing each other. You know, I was in an event last night that was created by a woman who's a naturopath who is really missing her heart. She had her brother was killed in the pandemic by a drunk driver. And so her family has gone through this grief journey, and she didn't know where everything was leading, but she sold her office. She'll practice from home. And she started something called Nourish, which is twice a year. A group of women get together, a small group, you buy a ticket, there's a meditation, you do your own journaling, whatever comes to you from the meditation, they have a little conversation, and then you eat together. And I was invited into this time. And but I was invited to bring journaling to the group. And again, like to witness the power of community and how, like, I'm not to exclude men, but there's something that happens when women are in a community together and they hold space for each other. It happens for men too, and I do believe in men's groups. I think they're really important. But just witnessing these people sharing their traumas and the vulnerability that they offered it's such a gift to be in this kind of thing together. There is no failure here. There's no right, wrong. Did I do enough? There's just, I showed up, and I showed up this way. I opened my heart this much, and something's changed. Even one of the women who shared, two women who shared, who never share, they never speak out. That alone is a huge shift for them. And so, Karen, when you say this, the shifts may be small but mighty, small but mighty. So I'm going to read you a poem by Pablo Neruda, and I will put it in the Facebook group. And then I'll say a little bit, and then I'm going to let you do a bit of journaling from a prompt. By the way, Steph, that color on you looks fantastic. You're welcome. Jocelyn, you keep popping in and out with your picture.
I know my camera's acting up again.
Oh gosh. Well, it's a nice picture. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful picture. Okay, it's called You Start Dying Slowly. You start dying slowly if you do not travel. if you do not read, if you do not listen to the sounds of life, if you do not appreciate yourself, you start dying slowly when you kill your self-esteem, when you do not let others help you. You start dying slowly if you become a slave of your habits, walking every day on the same paths, if you do not change your routine, if you do not wear different colors, or you do not speak to those you don't know. You start dying slowly if you avoid to feel passion and their turbulent emotions, those which make your eyes glisten and your heart beat fast. You start dying slowly if you do not change your life when you are not satisfied with your job or with your love, if you do not risk what is safe for the uncertain, if you do not go after a dream, if you do not allow yourself, at least once in your lifetime, to run away from sensible advice. It's interesting that he wrote this from the negative perspective, because essentially what he's saying is you start to live. Like if I were to go through this poem and rewrite it from that perspective, you start to live if you travel, if you read, if you listen to the sounds of life. If you appreciate yourself, you start to live. When you nourish your self-esteem, when you let others help you. I'm winging this, by the way. You start to live when you become the creator of new habits. Walk new paths, change your routine, wear different colors, speak to people you don't know. You start to live when you feel passion and their turbulent emotions that make your eyes glisten and your heart beat fast. You start to live when you change your life, when you are not satisfied with your job or with your love, when you risk what is safe for the uncertain, when you go after a dream, when you allow yourself at least once in your lifetime to run away from sensible advice. Same last line. Pretty cool, hey? So his poem, he's kind of an interesting guy. If you look him up, Neruda, Neruda, Pablo Neruda. It kind of, his poem reminds us of how much fear can hold us back from really living. And that if we're too focused on safety and remaining comfortable, we lose the experiences that make our short lives so wonderful. I see this poem as an invitation to live. So I'm going to give you a prompt. Use this start of this sentence. I start to live when I start to live when I. Of course, that prompt needs more than 3 minutes. But you could do it again and again, and on any given day, you'll get more and more answers. So we covered a lot on this 10-week journey. Starting off with observation and awareness, which is a tool that, or a practice that you can continue with. Whenever you start to notice things like, oh, I'm doing that thing, like, thank you. I see it now. I see it because, oh my God, when I started to see things, it was hard, but it was my point of power. I knew that once I could see something, I could shift. Didn't know how I'd shift it. I just knew I could. So always observation and awareness is a huge, huge part of any healing, any expansion, relationships, all of it. We did some clearing, creating. This was allowing that one nugget, that one small nugget toward cultivating a new belief in yourself, because you can't change them all. You can't change all the stories, all those thinking habits. So it was giving that one nugget, allowing yourself space to live in that what if. Do you remember that? Oh, did you just find it? Thanks, Steph. I'll put it in the Facebook group anyway, but that is it. Thank you. The what if, like what would be possible if I allowed myself to believe this? That is always available to us. One nugget. And then we looked at creating a vision. If anything were possible for me, what would I love? You had that whole week of that. And you got to meet some of your fears through that. You got to see where there was resistance. Take that question. Do it. You all have, you know, you're going to have like 67 journal prompts that you can go over again and again as you wish, or pull the ones that you loved and do them more than once so you can go deeper if you choose to. If you're like, I want a journal, but I don't know what to do, you have 67 options. We looked at trusting in the process, that place of the messy middle between your old stuff and your new, the new that you're trying to move towards, and being in that messy middle, reframing language, letting go of the absolutes, such as right, wrong, black, white, success, failure, yes, no. There's a whole world between those places. And then we did some work around getting to know your survivor self, not to get rid of her, but to understand her. That's powerful work, and it will go on. You'll be doing that if you choose to for the rest of your life. Being friends with those parts, because it's true, like what you said earlier, Jen, it is a very good question. I wonder if parts of my survivor self are why I'm so good at what I'm doing. And what else is possible when I start having like a really healthy relationship with that part of me? What else is possible? Can't know. You can't know. You can dream and you can create a vision, but holy cow, there will be things that come your way when you heal and open up to who you are. When we do that, that you just could never anticipate. It's pretty exciting. Then we did the foundational practice of self-love. Nurturing that helps us feel safe. What helps me open up in my own heart? What helps me open up my imagination? And through that, seeing where you deny yourself that. That's the getting to know yourself, right? Oh, I see. I know what I should do, but instead I do this. I self-sabotage or whatever it might be. When we can love ourselves through the old limitations into the new beliefs that we practice, we learn to trust ourselves. That's like a byproduct that is worthy of investing in this reframing, small nuggets, being aware, all of that. The other thing I want to say about self-love, because I saw this in quite a few women last night, is Like once you sort of start, until Monique said, until Jen publishes an encyclopedia of journal prompts, I'll be doing something with my journal prompts. But you know, when we start to wake up and we start to kind of like hit another level of our journey and coming home to ourselves, however it is you want to say it, I see a lot of women go, and I was one of them. Great, I'm going to do this. I'm going to start meditation. I'm going to go to yoga. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to blah, 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 and you overwhelm your nervous system. If all you do for the rest of the summer is 5 minutes of journaling and a little bit of breathing and going for nice walks, it will be enough. I'm not a fan of loading the plate. Oh my God. Did you all respond to that? Thank you. Oracle cards. God. Okay. You're distracting me. And then so small steps. We love small steps. We love the small but mighty. Love the small but mighty. And then we looked at tending the fire. I believe, Carol, that made you angry that week, didn't it? Didn't you? Yeah, I remember that. I was like, right on. Woo. Tending the fire. You will continue to tend the fire if you choose. Identifying your strengths and your gifts. What lights you up? What parts of my survivor self do I want to invite with me? Then becoming friends with fear. I mean, we covered a lot. Recognizing where your thoughts feed your fears. Recognizing and deciding what self-practices help me calm my fears. We looked at asking yourself, what would it feel like if I decided to be the caretaker of my own fears, or the mother to myself? And then last week was listening to your heart, opening to your heart, the beat of your own drum. Prickly or not prickly. So lots, hey? And I pulled back on a lot of stuff. I could have turned this into a 6-month journey easily. Maybe we'll do a year. How about a year? Oh my God, can you imagine? So when we first gathered, we looked at what re-envision means to you. And I spoke about how re-envision was an invitation to look at our habits and the stories that we tell that hold us back, and to then re-envision ourselves, our ways of seeing our lives, to see something more if we wanted to. I spoke of the alchemist journey, looking at what no longer serves us, choosing what we want to alchemize into new or renewed. And we talked about how that comes from, like, being on the alchemist journey requires a willingness to try. That's it. It's not about being perfect or succeeding. It's about a willingness to try and a desire to move towards something. If you remember anything from this time, remember that you can choose to move away from something, or you can choose to move toward something. You can feel the difference in the energy between the two, and also both and. It all exists. There is no, I can't enjoy my life until I get over this. It's both and. Right now, my heart is prickly, and I can open to it a little bit. Both and. Not my heart is prickly. When it's done being prickly, then I'll open my heart, right? Good example. I love the prickly heart vision. Oh, there's so many times that I get visions from other people, and I wish I was a painter, but I'm not. So when I asked you in the beginning what re-envision was about for each of you, Jen, you said exploring what is next for me. Something you had not nourished before, and that you were speaking of just surviving. Monique, you shared about reinventing your life, what is authentic, coming out of survival mode. Carol, re-envision was to look at the fears around communication. And Karen, you said to strengthen your connection to your creative work, which you did mention in your share. Steph, I love my life and there is more, trying to let go of how and what and exploring what the more is. And Jocelyn, you said it was working in community and stepping into your own authentic self. So I'd like you to, in one sentence or one word, just unmute yourself and we'll go around. And what has re-envision, what is it for you now? And just go, whoever wants to go. Has it shifted? Is it the same?
Okay, I guess I turn more to joy instead of the fear.
Ah,
Focus on the joy.
beautiful. Beautiful, thank you.
It's allowed me to redesign who I see myself as. And I'm actually been able to look at myself more and more like a writer and less as a classroom teacher, which was a way of survival that I had built for myself. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
I
Right.
feel like it shifted my perspective of myself, but also it's unburdened me. I feel lighter
Wow.
without other people's shit on me.
Very articulate. Beautiful.
I don't know if this is a word, but rightness, and by that I mean not right or wrong. It's just that everything is okay. You know, it's all right.
Ah.
That there's just a rightness with where I am, with where I'm going. So
Wow.
I need to work on that word a little bit, but it just
I get it.
it can have negative connotations too, right? About right or wrong, but it's just a sense of okay. It's all right, and the journey so far is right. All of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Beautiful. Great. Thank you. And I'm a fan of made up words. So
oh, there we go. Lightness and rightness. Like
lightness and
thanks,
right.
Karen.
I like that.
I just saw that. Yeah, that's great.
That's because Karen said there's a lightness.
Yeah.
Yeah, she feels lighter. Right on. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Monique, I see you unmuted.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. It's like the word re-envision changed for me as opposed to like re-envisioning my life. It's like changing the perspective on how I view the life that I currently have. And yes, it all belongs. And that's not one sentence, I'm sorry. And I don't feel like I'm in I don't feel like I've just come out of survival mode anymore. It feels like such a distance.
Hmm.
You know, like I can see that person. And I just want to give her a hug when I think about her. But now I just feel, yeah, just enjoying where I am right now, but
Hmm.
also open to whatever is next to come, and keeping that, building that openness, keeping it open. Many sentences.
Beautiful. Well, I hear you. I'm verbose as well. Beautiful. Really beautiful. Jocelyn.
And for me, it was, re-envision is just re-seeing myself, getting to know myself better, getting to love myself, to like myself. And that was huge for me because my self-talk was really bad. And, you know, to think that I can stand at the mirror now and look myself in the eye and say, you're worth it, you're enough, I love you, you know. I journaled. It's like when I can look in the mirror and say, I really like that woman, let's go on an adventure, right? Like I'm that woman now, instead of one of my best friends that was I always said she was the friend that would call me and say, let's go on an adventure. But now I can take myself on those adventures. So yeah, it's just,
Wow.
it's huge. It's a major shift.
So you can see, that's awesome. My goodness. So you've all experienced some shifts. And you can see that, yeah, go us, Karen says, that we start somewhere in a week one and it shifts. That is our life. That is our life. I knew that was going to happen through this 10 weeks. I knew that what you came into, like, this is why naming a thing is so hard, because it's like, oh, re-envision, reignite your passions, recreate your future. It's like, sounds like I'm going to go in and find out what my biggest dream is, and I'm going to have all the tools to make my dreams come true. Well, it's in here that impacts out here. And what I love about this is that each of you have your own unique experience. That's what I wanted. It wasn't going to be one thing. We're all going to do this one thing. We're going to set a goal and we're all going to do that goal thing. Make sense? I wanted it to be a personal journey for you each and to have it mean whatever it means for you and be wherever you were going to be. So let me speak about, because I do want to give you a journal prompt. Can you please stay 5 minutes later? Can you? Yes, yes, I see everyone. Monique, can you? It was Jen that said, be the river. Jen is Jen Forgy. Be the river, don't be the dam. Yeah, I said that in a journal prompt. Be the river, don't be the dam that blocks the river.
I can stay, but did everyone check in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because I'm taking notes and I see everyone there. Beauty. Thank you, Monique. So, what's next? Next is living. Next is living. And the prompts this week are going to be around that. I'm going to guide you through some journal prompts that will be exploring that. The question, what's next, is whatever you want that question to be. It doesn't have to be some big thing. It could be, what's next is, I'm going to spend the summer healing my survivor, my relationship with my survivor self. Or what's next is, I'm going to journal for 5 minutes every morning and talk to my heart. Like, who knows? Maybe some of you will take this whole 10 weeks of journey and your notes and go through them, or do the journal prompts, whatever it is. Some suggestions: you'll continue to create whatever vision will support you toward yourself. Vision doesn't have to be a great big goal. It could just be your relationship with yourself. How you're going to have a talk with your partner. What you're going to assume responsibility for. I'm going to catch myself when I'm reacting from the old. I'm going to soften. I'm going to give more joy to my life, whatever. Maybe you'll honor your fears. Thank them. Take care of them like you would a child or a frightened animal. Maybe you'll practice compassion. So there's all kinds of things that can live in the question of what's next for me in my next living. In week 2, I gave you a journal prompt. And we're 9 weeks from when I gave that journal prompt. And that was, who will I be for myself through this journey? That was in week 2. So I'd like to give you just a few minutes. I'm going to give you a prompt to take away. I'm going to talk about a couple of practical things, but right now I'm going to give you 3 minutes to write, who will I be for myself going forward? Who will I be for myself going forward? I love that question. If you're on the journey of loving yourself, you could just any moment say, who will I be for myself in this moment? So on the practical level, what's next is a couple of you have chosen to work with me one-on-one. I'm excited about that. And if anyone wants to talk to me about that, you can reach out to me. I have the Summer Fling Journal workshops, which is 5 days in the month of July, 5 days in August, and 5 days in September. Just journaling. It's not coaching. It's just journaling. Just journaling, she says. I will be offering a new 10-week journey in September under the new name Finding the Fire. Like that, Jen? Yeah, I like that too. It's inspired by David White. I've been listening to a lot of his work recently. I'm going to leave both the Facebook group and the journal on these replays available until July 15th. So that's a good 3 weeks of additional. Karen, thank you, Karen. I've missed how you sometimes used to pop your prompts in there. Karen says, I will be my biggest fan, cheerleader, and advocate. I will remind myself daily that there is a heck of a lot right with me. Yeah, I will be my own loving parent. I will be my personal curse breaker. I will shine the light in the dark and embrace all the parts of me that have been hiding there. I will bring myself back home. Damn, can you please put that up somewhere, like pick a nice font and put that up and frame it, because that's a manifesto. And when you have your dark moments, you can go there with your hands on your heart and cry your way through as you say those words to yourself. Yeah, beautiful, Karen. As ever, you're such a beautiful writer. Woo! So the link to the page that has the replays is up until July 15th, as will be the Facebook group. I will be sending a feedback form. Your feedback will help me be better and help make this a better journey. As I want to grow. So feedback on what worked. I'll have some specific questions. Don't make me chase you, but if you do make me chase you, I will chase you. And if you say I don't want to give you feedback, you also have that right. So I'm going to give you a prompt to take with you, and then we're going to end this call a little bit differently. So put this prompt where you can see it. Whenever you find yourself disconnecting or feeling like Monique is saying she will hunt you down. Yes, she will. Just a bit of an ag, that Jen. Whenever you find yourself disconnecting or feeling like a bit lost or judging yourself or being down on yourself, I gave you this prompt during this journey, so I'm just going to give it to you again. If it's true that I am exactly where I'm meant to be, what then can I trust in? What can I accept or allow right now? I put it in the I, the first person, but it's written in second. It's written in if it's true that you are exactly where you're meant to be, what then can you trust in? What can you accept or allow right now? Like that's a put it on a Post-it note, stick it on your bathroom mirror. Or even just, what can I trust now? What can I allow right now? It's a beautiful question. You don't even have to journal about it. You could just ask the question and feel yourself soften when you're in those tough spots. I wanted to leave you with that, so you had that. So we'll be communicating, on the Facebook group. I'm going to play a song. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you to each of you. This journey has been something I have wanted to create and lead for a couple of years and was too afraid to do it. So thank you for being here and trusting me and being with each other and being willing to trust this journey, not have a map. Trust that, Jen's going to show up. And sorry for I apologize for the weird bloopers that happened, the times that a journal prompt didn't come out. Thank you to Steph and Carol, who would always let me know. Jen, where's the prompt? Thank you for your open hearts and your vulnerability and your honesty. I hope that as you move into your lives, you can bring a little bit more of all that. Carol's saying, thank you everyone for being here. Monique is saying, thank you so much, Jen, for this safe and gentle space and connecting all of us. It's like my purpose. So thank you. So I'm going to play a song and we are going to wave ourselves off. Like that? So let me just get it. So you just go when you feel the go. Let me get the song. Hold on. Where the heck is it? Where's Spotify? God, this again, new computer. Ready? That it? Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. That's it. Ah.
There's nothing you can do that can't be done. Nothing you can sing that can't be sung. Nothing you can say, but you can learn how to play the game. It's easy. Nothing you can make that can't be made. No one you can save that can't be saved. Nothing you can do, but you can learn how to be you in time.
As you wish, you can get yourself off. Aw, Karen.
All you need is love. All you need is love. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need.